I found the birth certificate in a box of stuff my mom mailed to me, random stuff. It was in a folder full of photos and papers, including a love letter from my grandfather to my grandmother in 1943. The folder was wedged between two wooden duck sculptures and a glass paperweight. When I realized what I was holding with this birth certificate in my hands, I caught my breath and my eyes filled with tears. It had an ornate blue border and a tiny footprint stamped in black ink. The next paper in the pile was the death certificate for this same infant, my sister Kerin, who lived for 8 hours. I had heard about this baby, but now at age 50, this was the first time that I had evidence that she existed, the first time that I saw her name in print. I learned that her birthday was August 23rd, 1970. Her name was spelled Kerin, and her middle name was Paige. Kerin was the third of 3 daughters in my family. I'm the second. The first also died, actually stillborn, at full term. She never had a name, and my mother never saw her. I was so surprised that my mom had mailed this to me out of the blue without any warning. Now, I have to understand that my mom is super organized. I am also super organized. I take after her in that way. Give me a label maker and I'm in heaven, and actually, I will admit that my clothes are organized by color in my closet. So I imagined that my mom must have just been cleaning things out and throwing things in a box, but when I asked her about this birth certificate, she didn't realize it was there, and she hadn't even remembered that it existed. That seemed strange, but when I thought about it, I thought that in order to move on from the pain of losing 2 babies at full term, especially at that time when that wasn't something people talked about, that they had to file this away in order to move on from that pain. And I saw this as fate's way of giving Kerin a second life with me. You see, I've always longed for a sister. I've wished for one my whole life, and now the possibility and the loss were more real. But I was able to imagine a sister with the same blue eyes as me and the same straight hair, that my mom would dress us in matching outfits when we were little. Maybe we would borrow the clothing, like a favorite blue sweater or something, and we'd roll our eyes when our dad would give another lecture. And she'd be here now doing this adulting thing, right, where we have to check on our parents as they get older. My brother was born 4 years after me, 2 years after Kerin. Unfortunately, we've never been close. We don't have really anything in common, especially he has suffered from addiction for the past 35 years. I imagined if Kerin had lived, I'd have a sister who would be going through the same experiences that our family has had, the fear, the pain, the sadness that comes with addiction in your family. I felt so sorry for myself because I don't have a sister. I dwell on it, and I'd look at Facebook posts from friends about their vacations and holidays with their sisters. I'd be so jealous. A friend would complain about her sister, and all I would think was, at least you have one. I have an amazing husband, 2 wonderful children, parents who love me, who are still here, and gosh, an overwhelming number of friends and girlfriends. But let's face it, it's not the same thing as having a sister, right? You can't create a shared history with someone that you didn't grow up with. But you know what? I can't change that. In the years since discovering Kerin's birth certificate and losing a dear sister friend to cancer, and having some therapy, admittedly, I've learned that I can change the story that I tell myself. I can stop dwelling on what I don't have. One of the best things about being an adult is that thing where they say that your friends are the family that you choose. When I look at my life, I can see how lucky I am to have people who love me, who support me, who show up for me, whether they're my family by birth or whether they're friends who are like family, and I'm so grateful for that. That's more than enough. So I'm choosing to take my longing for a sister, like a pair of shoes that will never fit, and place it in a box labeled what might have been, and put it on a shelf in my closet right next to my blue sweaters.